sorry about that. My Japanese is a bit rusty.
Can I help you with something? Oh, you're here for the tutorial. Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense actually. You saw the thumbnail. You want to learn how to do the eye stuff. My bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's just I was a bit thrown off because when you like stare at someone without explaining why is kind of weird and creepy. But I guess it would be bad if you explained also. I don't know which is worse, I guess. Let me know in the comments. What is worse? When someone stares at you and doesn't say anything at all, or if they stare at you but also tell you like, you know,
this is why I'm staring at you.
I think not saying anything is worse because they're probably literally
Just insane.
whereas the person who explains it maybe pulling off a prank or something. I don't know. Anyways, the past is behind us. Let's forget it ever happened and move on. All right. I'm glad to hear these videos are helping people. That is the entire purpose of them. There's a full playlist called Frame by Frame Tutorials for anyone who is not aware, where you can just look at all the tutorials I've made on the channel and find something that you may want to learn. Okay. Now, when it comes to stop motion, animation, eye movement, there are two main techniques that I use. The first technique I think is really only beneficial if you're doing like just like 1 or 2 frames. But if you want to do like more than 2 frames, I think the second technique is much more beneficial overall. So I'm going to show you how to do that one. Okay. It takes a bit longer to set up than the first one does, but in the long run, it is much easier to accomplish the animation that you're seeking. And so without further ado, let's begin the eye movement tutorial. This is actually not very easy. It's kind of blurry, but yeah. All right, guys, let's start this tutorial. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, get whatever image you're trying to animate the eyes on. Okay, this is a program called GIMP. It's completely free, and it's basically like a free version of Photoshop. All right. So first I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm doing that on my touchpad by putting my fingers together and then separating them on the pad to zoom in. If I slide them together, it will zoom out. Okay, so we're going to zoom in on his eye here. And now we're going to select the paths tool, this tool right here. And we're going to basically outline his eyeball or his cornea, as I believe will be the correct scientific term or something, right? And then, yeah, so just 2 points like that, and try to outline the white part of his eyes, or of his eye, singular. And then get another point, like let's say maybe here, hold Control to connect it to that one. As you click, of course, hold Control and then you click. Now we're going to connect these two. So you're going to hit that, hold Control to connect those, okay? And then click and drag to adjust the shape of it. All right, that should be good enough for our purposes. And then selection from path over here, click that. Then Control X to cut, or you can click Edit Cut up here. And then Control V to paste, Shift Control N, okay? Then we're gonna right click that new layer, because when we press Shift Control N, that put it on a new layer. As you saw before, it was floating. If I do Control Z, you see over here it says floating selection. So you have to put it on a new layer. So Shift Control N, and then we're gonna right click that layer, duplicate it. We're gonna name the bottom one Cornea 1, and the top one we're gonna call it Pupil 1. All right. Now I'm gonna hide Cornea 1 and the original. And I'm also gonna click the Move tool to get rid of all that stuff there. And now we're actually gonna make his pupil bigger, so to speak, or more complete. Actually, what do you want to do too? Let's turn this on. You actually want to put this one on top of the other 2 layers. But hold on. So Control Z, My bad. I need to add an alpha channel to this one. So if you don't add an alpha channel, which is transparency, you'll get like that kind of black or colored empty space. So right click, add alpha channel. Okay. And now Control X, you see now it's transparent instead of black. Control V, Shift Control N, same as before, right click, duplicate layer, bottom one, cornea 1, top one, pupil 1. Now I'm actually gonna put the layer with the figure on it on top of these other two, and I'm gonna show you why in a bit. So we're now gonna hide the cornea layer, okay? And all we have is a pupil layer. I'm gonna hide this layer as well. I'm gonna get the eraser tool, and I'm gonna start basically isolating the pupil. All I want is his pupil. I don't want any white really, or as little white as possible. All I want is his pupil here, okay? So just erase all the cornea stuff and all that. And now the pupil, we need to make it bigger than this rectangle is allowing us to. So you can double click over here to get the rectangle, select tool, double click and drag to make a big rectangle. Then click layer, crop to selection to make that layer bigger, okay? Click the move tool. And now we're gonna start using the clone tool to basically complete his pupil. Okay, so I'm gonna show you that now. The clone tool is right here. Click that, and we can like hold Control and click to select the area you want to clone, and then start drawing his pupil to make it bigger. You see? Because we're cloning those pixels, and we're gonna do the same thing over here. Click there, or click like maybe, let's see, down here, and then just like draw like that to kind of fill in that pupil up there, right? Right, okay, let me undo that. All right, I think I like, that is okay. Let's get the eraser tool to make it a little more round. And I do want to give it kind of like, you see it has that kind of brown outline. I want to put that on all of it. So get the eyedropper tool or color picker tool here, and like select like, you know, one of these dark pixels. Get the brush tool. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. It's 6 pixels right now. I'm gonna carry it down to like 3 pixels or so. And I'm just gonna outline his eyeball with that dark color, right? Or his pupil rather, whichever you want to call it. Just outline it with that dark color, all right? To make it look like a full pupil rather than a partial pupil like it was before. So now his pupil is pretty much complete, right? That's a pretty good pupil for our purposes. And if you look there, turn it on and off, his pupil is there, right? And now we're gonna do the cornea. Now the cornea is gonna be pretty much completely white, and we don't need to make it, well, we can make it bigger, I guess, for, yeah. So let's click select none. You see that rectangle is still selected there. Select none. And actually we could have left it, Control Z, and then click layer, crop to selection to make that layer bigger as well. Select none to get rid of that rectangle selection thing. And now we're gonna turn this off, and we wanna like just fill this in completely white all the way through. That's what we're gonna do, okay? Now, let me see what's the best way to go about doing that. Just wondering, let me right click and click alpha to selection. That will basically keep my work within the boundaries of this selection, okay? Let's get a clone tool and let's start cloning some of this stuff. So click that and then do this, and it will actually clone that stuff. Now the clone tool, it can be tricky sometimes getting the right stuff. So let me actually select none. I'm actually gonna get the paintbrush instead. It'll probably be easier. Let me just like select, or you know what? Let me actually, all right. Trying to think of the best way to show you all how to do this. All right, so let me like select maybe this part here, right? Yeah, let me select that. Control C to copy that. Okay, select none. And now we can actually use that as a brush. If you look right here, if I make it bigger, you'll see the thing we just copied is now a brush. Actually, it's not showing. Oh, so huge. Hold on. Why is it not? It's not showing on the screen though. Hold on. Well, the thing we just copied is the brush. If you look here, right? That is the thing we just copied, right? So just click, just click and drag that around or whatever. And now right click alpha to selection. I'm gonna get the smudge tool, change back to a regular brush. And I'm just gonna smudge that thing to make it look kind of smoothed out, right? Just gently smudge it up to make it look pretty smooth out. All right. Yeah, just get that. All right. Just try to make it look pretty even. All right, so now select none and then turn the pupil on. So the pupil's there, and then turn this on. So he's there. All right, zoom out. And now you can actually start animating if you want to. I'm just gonna show you one eye, and the exact same process I just did is what you do for both eyes, okay? So let me make like a layer group over here, call it frame one, and then let me put all this stuff in there, just drag and drop all this stuff into frame one. If my computer could stop freezing, that'd be great. All right, and then cornea, okay. And then duplicate this, right click, duplicate layer, call it frame two. And actually, if you call it, let's say, let me undo, Control Z. If you call it frame number one, it should actually automatically name it frame number two, the copy when you copy it. So duplicate layer, yeah, frame number two. So that's a nice little trick to know. And now let's get the pupil and let's move it like, let's click it. And then on the arrow key or whatever you want to do, really, just move it like, I'm going to move it like maybe 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or maybe just 5. Okay, hold on. That was a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then duplicate layer, frame number 3, click the pupil again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then duplicate layer, frame number 4. And you get it by now, I hope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now, if we zoom out, he looks kind of cross-eyed, right? But if you look now, his eye moves each time, right? And of course, you can move his eyes however you want to. Like, for example, because we made the whole pupil, that's why we made the whole pupil, because you have him look up, you have him look down, you have him look over here, look over there. Basically, you can move the pupil around and have it do whatever you want it to do, right? And that is pretty much the tutorial. So yeah, that is how you animate eyes for stop motion. Just make the pupil a separate layer and make it a completely full pupil, you know, like fill it out and stuff. Then make the cornea completely white and you're good to go. So yeah. All right, guys, I hope that tutorial was helpful. Remember, I do take requests for tutorials. So if there's any tutorial you want to see regarding like stop motion, voice acting, video editing, photo editing, anything like that, leave a comment in the description, in the comment section. And if I know how to do it, I'll get to it. And that's probably a pretty good slogan for the series. Frame by frame tutorials. If we know how to do it, we'll get to it. There's also a GoFundMe page for my animated series, God's Last King. I recently bought some foam boards. I'm gonna be making that 1/6 scale staircase pretty soon, hopefully. I have an entire plan and blueprints that I drew up here. It was a very complicated mathematical process, right? There's a Facebook page you can follow if you want to stay up to date on like behind the scenes stuff, animations I'm working on, all of that. Today I spent about maybe 6 or 7 hours, a long time, working on God's Last King Scene 2 in Episode 1. Scene 2 Part 1 is like 95% done. I'd like to release Episode 1 in either May or June. I'd prefer May, but it may be June. That's a good pun there, I guess. I prefer May, but it may be June. Because I am also a travel agent, so I have a bunch of other stuff to do that takes up time as well. And speaking of that, I will leave the information for my agency in the description below. My agency is called Sayers Travel Agency. We are affiliated with Archer Travel Group, who's been in business for about 70 years. We can help you with flights, hotels, cars, rental cars, ball games, a whole bunch of stuff, and it's completely free. Now, guys, in all seriousness, planning travel can be a very stressful process. If you look for just one flight, you're gonna see like a million websites, 100 different prices, membership discounts, discounts over here, rewards, benefits, a whole bunch of stuff, right? Very stressful. Let us save you time, stress, and money, okay? Now, who wouldn't wanna save time, stress, and money? There's only one kind of person I could think of. Someone who has too much free time, no stress, and no money. Right? That is a very rare person. And if that is you, I don't know whether to say good or nah. I really am not sure. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to subscribe. If you want to see more stuff, remember to leave a comment, share the video with other people that you think it may be helpful for and all that.